Well, I'm not surprised. I think uh, the initial thought process was that he was going to stay through the DNC. But from what I've heard, there's been a lot of frustration around who's in charge. When you're the chief of staff, the presumption is that you're in charge. And unfortunately, my understanding from discussions with folks is that he'd make a decision and then sometimes it'd be overturned. And so that's something that if you're the chief of staff, at some point you got to make a decision whether or not you're being undermined. And I think, with 30 plus years of service, he has that flexibility to wake up and go, I'm done. And I think he exercised that.
I know that when he was first named, there was a sort of a sigh of relief. Okay, a veteran, someone who knows how the trains run.
Right.
Police and fire respected him and trusted him. I think it's a loss for the mayor.
Huge loss. I mean, public safety is the number one issue when you're talking with constituents. And I think that public safety was constantly talked about with Rich Guidice, making sure that the CPD, OEMC, the fire had the necessary resources to keep the trains running. So with someone that like Rich Guidice, 30 plus years of experience, I think really puts us in a position where there's going to be a little bit of rough, bumpy roads ahead. But I think that if the mayor is able to reach out to the council for advice, because there's a lot of folks here that are seasoned as well, and collectively work together to move the city forward, I think that there could be some success.
Any other? Yeah, I'm hearing also there could be more. I mean that this isn't the only one leaving.
Well, I haven't. You hear rumors all the time, but the one with Rich Guidice was a lot more realistic, given the fact that he had that flexibility of having been tenured. And that's a luxury when you can just wake up and say, hey, I'm done. And so he went ahead and exercised that, and I wish him luck as he moves forward in his career. He's still a young man, so I'm sure that he'll land somewhere if he wants to. But a big loss for the city, and we got to make sure that whoever the mayor picks for his chief of staff, that they were under his tutelage, under Rich Guidice's tutelage, and learned some things. And I think the most important thing is to try to make sure you're building relationships with the council. There are a lot of folks that have experience in government that want to see the city succeed. And I think it's incumbent upon the mayor to tap into these folks in order to continue to move the city forward.
I'm surprised that he's leaving. It's certainly a loss, I think, for the city of Chicago. He's been an institution around here and certainly knows his way around the city. I would think he would stay around to help on the DNC convention, and I would be surprised if he didn't help out. Have you talked to him about that?
No, well, I haven't touched him yet, but he's leaving April 1 unless he has a job in the private sector, but he's leaving as the chief of staff, which is a pretty key role.
Right, but I think that he would probably stick around. I mean, my guess would be, and I haven't talked to him, but my guess would be is that he would stick around to be involved in the Democratic National Convention.
Maybe
at some point. Maybe on the private side, maybe as a consultant, who knows.
What does that tell you, though, about the mayor's administration in this first year? It's been pretty rocky. Here, this was the guy who was the veteran, the lifer, the guy that knows how the trains run, and he can't make it 1 year.
Well, I mean, I don't take anything. People leave jobs all the time, and I think his role was to come in and help the mayor transition into city government. Perhaps he feels that he's done that and it's time to move on.